Hey, Kyle is wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's AEW Rampage from June 24th, 2022. And this is the go home show for this Sunday's cross promoted with New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW Forbidden Door. So, a lot to look forward to and a lot to get into. Great Rampage tonight. Just off the bat, definitely make sure you go watch this Rampage if you're someone that only watches Dynamite and wants to maybe listen to reviews about Rampage. Definitely go watch this one. It was a great way to send us home and get ready for Sunday's pay-per-view. We also got a couple more matches announced, 2 more pre-show matches, and I think 1 more for the regular card. So we'll get into those as we go here. Let's just get right into it. This is again taped from uh, right after Dynamite ended on Wednesday. So this was in Milwaukee. And we start out hot with Andrade and Rey Fenix already in the ring. These are 2 guys that are going to be going out there. Of course, Jericho on commentary says this should be a classic, and I agree. These 2 were banned from Forbidden Door. If you didn't hear the news, it's because of the New Japan Pro Wrestling long time partnership with CMLL, which CMLL is the eternal rival of AAA. So it seemingly only affected Mexicans that wrestled in AAA. I didn't hear anything about like Matt Hardy being banned, although Matt Hardy's not on the show, and I don't know if the Hardy Boys were going to be on the show or not. But it didn't seem to affect any of the Americans that wrestle in AAA. So anyway, there's 2 guys here that this is going to be their pay-per-view. This is their pay-per-view tonight, or at least it was on Wednesday night, aired tonight. So Andrade, who if you believe the rumors, was supposed to be the opponent against Will Ospreay for the US title. It was going to be Will Ospreay versus Andrade, and it was going to be just a crazy match, probably a potential for match of the night. So we're not getting Will Ospreay versus Andrade, which in hindsight they could have given us that match here instead. But it makes sense that you don't want to have Will Ospreay have 2 giant matches in 3 days when he's not even part of your company. But so I guess that's why. But instead, Andrade versus Rey Fenix, and basically their pay-per-view match here. And there was a little bit of backstory coming into it recently where Rey Fenix was eliminated from the Battle Royal to see who fought John Moxley for the interim title shot at Forbidden Door, and Andrade gave Phoenix a low blow and eliminated Rey Fenix. So that's kind of where this exact match is stemming from. Phoenix lands on his feet off of a Hurricanrana right away, but Andrade follows it with another Hurricanrana, and Phoenix isn't able to land this one. So that was really cool. Get ready for just all kinds of crazy stuff. You know what to expect here. I tried to write down as much. I usually when on matches like this just go watch it and say some of the big moves, but I did kind of write a lot of stuff here. They were doing a lot of good selling along with their moves, so it wasn't your super. It wasn't just a spot fest or your prototypical lucha libre match because there was a lot of selling. There was some time taken to actually let moves absorb, which made this match even better. Is that like the Triple H and whoever else was at the Performance Center in NXT rubbing off on people like Andrade? Like, who knows? But really loving that here, and let's just get into it. That was the first moves, like I said. Phoenix then gives out the ropes with a big super kick. Um, Andre uses his power, so he's definitely more powerful than Rey Fenix, and hits. He's about to hit 3 amigos. He only hits 2 of them. Rey Fenix counters that into 2 amigos of his own, so only hitting 2 of the 3 as well. Andrade rolls out of the ring, but Rey Fenix springboard flips to the outside. That was amazing. They both countered 2 moves and eventually leading to a German suplex by Phoenix. So a bunch of counters, counter. Phoenix goes to the top again, but Andrade shoves him into the outside, and we go to a picture-in-picture ad break. While that's going, Andrade works over a chin lock, so not much in the ad break. When we come back, Andrade gets stopped on a top rope move, and Phoenix joins him up top for maybe like a top rope Hurricanrana or something like that. But Andrade counters whatever he was looking for into a hanging stomp, kind of like Alberto Del Rio used to do. And Phoenix kicks out at 2 out of that. Andrade then sets up Phoenix in the corner for the Meteora to the seated opponent, but Phoenix gets up in time and hits a standing stomp of his own. So dueling stomps here. Andrade blocks a cutter, but Phoenix hits a springboard, a drop kick right after that. So Phoenix actually paused. The announcers noted this out when on that springboard drop kick. Phoenix paused like on top, like stopped on a dime, and stood on top for like balance for a second or two, which is insane. And yeah, he does the drop kick there. Now Phoenix is able to hit the rolling cutter, but Andrade is able to kick out. Phoenix tries for a top rope frog splash, but Andrade gets the knees up. So these two are just really good at the counters and the blocking and stuff. We get a big chop, overhand chop by Andrade here to Rey Fenix's chest. Phoenix goes for a tightrope walk across the top rope, but Andrade pushes him off. That looked really dangerous and really well done, well executed. Andrade goes for the Meteora now to the ring post, so he's running on the apron and trying to go to the knee post or the ring post, but his both knees hit the ring post. Andrade hits the ring post and Phoenix moves. So big move there, and we go to another picture-in-picture ad break. Rey misses a top rope move, and both men are down. Right as we come back from the break, we get an inverted top rope Spanish fly hit by Phoenix. So instead of um normally I would have you facing me and I'd be facing the other way, but this time they were facing the same way and they did the Spanish fly. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Maybe I've seen it even done by Phoenix before, but that was insane. Andrade gets a foot on the rope to stop the count at 2. So the announcers note that Phoenix didn't hook the leg after that. That was able to get the rope up. Now Jose Assistant's freaking out, so he gives the tablet to Andrade, the tablet that Jose's been using as a weapon for months now. But referee Aubrey sees the tablet, gets rid of it. While that's happening, Andrade tries a low blow. That's blocked, but then he gets a thumb to the eye of Rey Fenix. So Andrade just getting desperate here. Rey fights back and hits a tope con hero through the middle rope. So not over the top rope, but a tope con hero through the middle rope to the outside. Again, just insane stuff here by Phoenix, who just recently won. He was at Triple Mania last week, so it would have been about 5 days before this was taped at Impact. And Rey Fenix won not only the basically the cruiserweight title of AAA, but also the Latin American title, all in one match that included 4 other people, and was pretty much everybody's match of the night. And I'm assuming because of Phoenix or among others. So definitely go check that one out. I heard El Hijo del Vikingo was going crazy in that match too, so go check that one out. But Phoenix is just on another level. I'm glad he didn't completely break his arm into a million pieces on that move with the Jurassic Express when he got injured for a little bit, but it could have been way worse. Anyway, we had just gotten to the point where Rey Fenix got that tope con hero through the middle ropes. Now Alex Abrahantes is out and he wants to fight Jose the Assistant. So we get the two as Jericho goes, "What are these nerds gonna fight about?" or something along those lines. That was funny. Then all of a sudden, Roosh walks out casually. So if you remember back at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, while Andrade was out on honeymoon with Charlotte Flair, we got a special. We were expecting it little video package, and it was Andrade welcoming in Roosh to AEW, or like his new faction. Now, I don't know the whole story between these guys, but they basically were in the original Los Ingobernables stable, the one that now was taken from Mexico over to create Los Ingobernables Japón. That's where Naito and where we're getting Hiromu and Shingo from at the pay-per-view. But these are the OGs of Los Ingobernables, and Andrade we saw Andrade with Rey Fenix or Roosh in that video at Double or Nothing, but nothing's really been made of since. So here's Roosh and he's walking out. He kicks Phoenix right in the yam bags behind the referee's back. Rey Fenix was on the outside of the ring, and Andrade hits the hammerlock DDT for the 1-2-3. Roosh is in the ring now with Andrade, and Andrade has put on a shirt, and Roosh opens his shirt to reveal that they're wearing. It wasn't exactly Los Ingobernables shirts, but it was like the TNA version or the TNA, my bad, the AEW version that you can find on the AEW website right now. So it wasn't like but it was like it seemed like it was like a knockoff, but it was super close, so they didn't get sued. I'm not quite sure all on that, but basically, just know that they're Los Ingobernables, and they're bringing that brand to AEW. Hopefully, we can get Naito at some point. Maybe since we don't get Naito at Forbidden Door, we can see Naito some other time when Andrade and Rush need help. That would be pretty cool. But those new shirts are probably I think they said they're on sale now, so you can go check it out if you want on aewshop.com. But Penta Obscuro isn't having any of this, and he runs out with a shovel to chase everybody off. So that's how we end that match. Really, really good match. Like I said, of course, it had your lucha libre type stuff in it, but unlike a lot of lucha libre, which is like what people would call a spot fest, do a move, get up, do another move. Nobody really sells anything. We're all just on to the next move without selling the move before it. And now, 15 moves later, it's like, well, did any of them really were any of them really affected? Like, some people love that kind of match, and some people absolutely hate. Like, some people would have rated Okada versus Jay White at Dominion about 3 weeks ago a 1 star because it was such a slow paced, story driven match. But anybody that loves or understands how like a story driven match is with the slow, sure, it was a little slow pace even for my taste, but it wasn't like your move, 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 move. It was like one move, sell for 45 seconds, yell at the referee, yell at the crowd, yell at Okada, hit him with another move, he sells it for 45 seconds, yell at Okada, yell at the crowd, stuff like that. So, I mean, the perfect stuff is like finding the perfect balance, and this was almost towards that. This match right here between Andrade and Ray Phoenix is almost that perfect balance where you're getting extreme stuff from like Ray Phoenix, one of the best luchadors in the world, and you're also getting really, really story driven stuff. Like Andrade was able to keep up with the Lucha Libre, obviously, and do some of himself, but was also doing a lot of the technical wrestling and storytelling wrestling, where Ray Phoenix was also slowing it down a little bit in moments to sell. So really, really good stuff out of those guys tonight. I didn't even care who won. And the fact that the winner was only because of the storyline. This was all about, here's a really fun match to watch, and it's going to have big implications, storylines coming out of it. You can't ask for much more than that. But yeah, Penta Obscuro comes out and chases everybody off with a shovel, which I laughed at. We go in the back, and Eddie Kingston tells us to go by Forbidden Door, but really all Eddie Kingston cares about is blood and guts. He wants to see Jericho's blood and see if it's Kool-Aid, and he can't wait to taste Jericho's blood. So now back at the announce table, Jericho's screaming that Kingston's a sick man. He needs to be locked in a cage, and that's what we'll do Wednesday. So Jericho like also doing a slyly making it like an ad. Yeah, Eddie Kingston has the most believable promos in all of wrestling. The way Eddie Kingston does promos is like the way Bryan Danielson does matches. Just so freaking believable and smooth and um, just the best. So we had an ad break right after all that. We come back and then we see Swerve and Keith Lee in the back. Swerve said that they've been on a roll lately, despite maybe not seeing eye to eye. And Sunday they're going to beat Kanemaru and El Desperado. So we have seen El Desperado a couple weeks ago when it was first revealed that Jericho was going to have the working agreement with Suzuki Gun. That's the stable where Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer are from, as well as Zack Sabre Jr. So all 5 members are no Taka Michinoku, but almost all the members of Suzuki Gun is going to be here. It's going to be Kanemaru, El Desperado in this match here against Swerve and Keith Lee, and I think it's a pre-show match. So that's a new match announced for the card. I'm excited for that one. And Keith still definitely doesn't seem like he cares for Swerve very much. So definitely keep an eye out on that. So Serena Deeb is now out next. She's got some of the best music in all of wrestling. It really goes hard. Mercedes Martinez is out next. She's going to be her partner. So if you guys don't follow Dark and Dark Elevation, first of all, you can go check out every Wednesday before Dynamite. I put out my preview for Dynamite, which also includes the Dark and Elevation reviews, as well as reviews of Hey EW with RJ City, Being the Elite, and if there was any good promos in the Control Center. So I give you all the rundown on that. Anyway, What I can tell you is that Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez, this is going to be the fourth time in about 20 days that they've teamed up together. And all three of the other matches have gone the exact same way, where they try to outdo each other and then they both lock in submissions at the same time. So let's see if this one's any different. Deeb actually has her hair down tonight instead of up in a bun, which was super weird to see. But now that her hair's down, it kind of looks like Mercedes Martinez's hair. They're kind of similar. So maybe that's why she put it down here. And their opponents are going to be Laney Luck, who I've seen before for sure. I think I even follow her on Twitter, so she's been around in the independents. And it's going to be Sierra, I think it was. I don't think it was Sienna, like the it's not the Allison Kay, who's now in NWA, former Impact. It's a woman named Sierra, I think. Um, Hotel India are her three tag partners, or two tag partners. I mean, that'd be funny gimmick going. Oh, that would be a funny gimmick. But who wants to be called Hotel? I guess you could get a big guy like, like the Wall from WCW was named the Wall. Like, you can make big 400-pound guy the Hotel, or just Hotel. All right. Anyway, um, did I say it was Sierra? Yeah, Sierra starts with Deeb, and Deeb makes her tag out right away. So, um, couple of blind tags between Deeb and Mercedes when they didn't want to tag out, like tagging each other in when they weren't ready, kind of deal. And Deeb tags in Mercedes after destroying Laney Luck for a little while. Mercedes comes in and continues to destroy Laney Luck. So Deeb now tags back in, double T move, tag back to Mercedes, double T move. Mercedes now backs into the ropes on a running, trying to do a running off the ropes move, and she hits Serena Deeb, who was walking back to her corner. So this makes Deeb pissed. We do get the dual submissions locked in, and Laney and Sierra tap. Just like I said, basically the same match I've seen 4 times in 20 days now. So please give me something else. If they wrestle on Rampage here, that probably means they weren't on Dark Elevation. So there is that. Oh, one thing I haven't mentioned in the news is that Sky Blue is out injured right now too. I wondered that we didn't see her on Dark last week, which she's almost always on Dark. And this comes, I'm pretty sure, her last match, which I noted on my review. Sky Blue versus Marina Shafir was super, super stiff, and I think Marina Shafir beat the crap out of her and maybe injured Sky Blue. I don't have that confirmed. I know Sky Blue does a lot of wrestling shows outside of AEW, so it could have been in something else, and I can't confirm that. But the last match I've seen Sky Blue in, she was getting absolutely destroyed by Marina Shafir in a super stiff and uncomfortably stiff match. So hopefully Sky Blue isn't out too long. Anyway, it definitely looks like Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez are going to be clashing for the ROH World Title, Women's Title at some point here. I would love to see Serena Deeb with that title since she couldn't win the. I mean, Serena Deeb should have won. There's absolutely no reason Serena Deeb shouldn't have beat Thunder Rosa. I mean, I know a lot of people respect Thunder Rosa, but she could always get another title run. I think it was time for Deeb, bro. Yeah, it would have been a short run for Rosa, and maybe you can get it back to Rosa after Deeb has a little bit of run, and Rosa can come back in 6-7 months and be the one to beat her. Or you could have Jade Cargill be the one that eventually beat Serena Deeb, and maybe once she wins both titles, she gives up the TBS title, and then Thunder Rosa can be a TBS champion for a while. So there's ways around it. I thought it was time for Serena Deeb to get that title. I don't know if Serena Deeb's ever going to be built up and that good enough to be the world champion again. Like she came out of that Hikaru Shida feud, like, even though it lasted forever and it was on and off because Shida got injured / went to Japan for a while. So I still think that was almost as high as stock of Serena Deeb you're ever gonna get. And if you remember some of those promos where she was talking about how she didn't want to mutilate her body, or how she had to put implants in and stuff like that, like all that resonated with me personally. Like, I really thought that was impactful. So all that to say that if Serena Deeb does get the ROH title here, at least it's a little bit of a consolation prize. I mean, there's still no ROH television shows yet, but even in this show tonight, we do see a little bit of ROH stuff in this show. So that tells me that once this New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff is over with, which is going to be over with on Sunday, it looks like we might be getting a little bit more about ROH going forward. So, and we've already set up on Dark, on regular Dark next week. It's going to be Wheeler Yuta versus a Tony Nese for the ROH Pure Championship, and they set that match up, and Yuta took that match even though it was only one day before Blood and Guts. So they are starting to do a little bit more with the ROH title, and I assume soon we'll get within the next week or two, even we could get Serena Deeb versus Mercedes Martinez for the ROH title, and I think Deeb will beat her for sure. But yeah, this was a nothing match since I've seen it 3 times previously, but a lot of people don't watch those shows, so you guys might have enjoyed this a little bit more. I think I enjoyed the first and maybe even the second time, but by the third time I was already over it, and now this was my 4th time in less than 3 weeks watching this same exact match. We get a video pack. So this is what I was talking about ROH. We immediately go from that to they tell us, oh, that Tully Blanchard has a video package he wants us to see, or something along those lines, or Tully Blanchard has something he wants us to hear. So, if you guys remember, if you watched the ROH pay-per-view, the one that Tony Khan had to put on because they already had the date, it was during WrestleMania weekend, and Tully Blanchard was on that show, and he formed his new Tully Blanchard Enterprises. Well, we haven't heard one inkling of anything from this ever since that ROH show. And if you think about how long WrestleMania ago was, that was like almost 3 months ago. So it's been over 10 weeks, I think, since we've heard Tully Blanchard Enterprises or anything about it. But here it is. It's everything they set up on the ROH pay-per-view just 10 weeks later. It's Tully Blanchard. He shows off his 3 clients, Brian Cage, Khan, and Toa. Khan and Toa seem to be the tag team, while Brian Cage will be the singles guy. And like I said, we haven't seen the storyline, I'm pretty sure, on anywhere on AEW television yet. So this is their debut on AEW, and we go to an ad break. So that was pretty cool. So now we're in the back, and the interviewer Lacey is with ROH champion Jonathan Gresham. So we go straight from Mercedes and Deeb maybe fighting for the ROH women's title to Tully Blanchard introducing his reintroducing his Tully Blanchard Enterprises, which is an ROH faction. And now we've got the ROH champion, which we haven't really seen in a while. He did get injured, however, but I think Jonathan Grisham's back, healthy, and he's here. He's got the ROH title, and he's hanging out with Lee Moriarty in this segment. And then all of a sudden, Tully Blanchard interrupts. So Tully Blanchard's here right after we saw that video package. That was pretty funny. After not seeing him for so long. So Tully says that his clients have a better record than you, and I think he was pointing at Lee Moriarty, so that's harsh. And Tully wants if you remember, Lee Moriarty was one of those jobbers on Dark and Dark Elevation, and then slowly but surely moved his way up to, then he was allowed to get a little bit of offense in one match, and then a little bit more in the next match, and then he came close to winning one match, and then he actually won a match. So that's when they actually signed him, and it was Lee. I'm pretty sure he's officially signed. But yeah, Lee Moriarty does have a little bit of bad record because he did start out as a jobber on Dark. And Tully says not only do the clients have it better than you, they also want the ROH title. And Grisham says, well, how about your boys versus me and my boy Lee Moriarty? So Tully shakes Grisham's hand, and that sets up a match, I'm assuming, for next week, probably on Rampage. It'll be Jonathan Grisham and Lee Moriarty versus, I'm assuming it won't be, like I said, Brian Cage is the singles wrestler. So I'm assuming it'll be Grisham and Moriarty versus Khan and Toa. And this is probably going to set up Brian Cage winning the ROH title from Grisham. Can you imagine a match between those two? It should be a good match, but wow, like Brian Cage is like twice the size of Grisham. No offense to all you short kings out there, but not only way taller, but all that muscle that Brian Cage has as well. So we go back to the ring. Hook's on his way out. And if you remember, he was going to fight DKC, who doesn't even get an entrance. DKC is from the LA Dojo, working for New Japan. and works for the New Japan Strong show that's on their streaming service. They tape that show here in America and have a lot of their Americans and the LA Dojo guys on the NJPW Strong, another show that I review on this channel. So DKC has an LA Dojo headband on. That was pretty cool. Hook takes down DKC with a knee bar right away. DKC gets a punch in, but that just makes Hook mad. Hook lights up DK in the corner. Then an Ungi Mata. I wrote it down, but I forget what they were talking about. It was a certain throw by Hook. Ungi Mata. And then DKC turns it around and gets some big strikes in, like was really laying him in on Hook. Hook counters into a high crotch overhead throw, and then a bunch of crossface strikes over the top of the head, and Hook's in the red run for the tap out victory, and the crowd's going crazy for Hook. So Hook just leaves without any celebration or anything as usual. And we go to Mark Henry in the back. He's got FTR and United Empire's Great O'Khan, Jeff Cobb in split screen. And it's going to be Cash versus Jeff Cobb in this match, in a singles match. So Cash says, I'm not a singles wrestler, and Cobb is great, but none of that matters. I'm here for a fight. Sunday is our chance to win IWGP Gold, just like the Steiners and Vader. And then Cobb says, well, next time you talk to me, say 2014 Olympian before you address me. And Cobb says he'll win tonight and take the ROH titles back to Japan. So everything's about ROH on this episode of Rampage. I kind of recognize it at the time, but we've got them talking about the ROH tag titles here. We had the women's title earlier. We had the world title. And then we had something else. But pretty crazy. Oh, no, this one's with the tag. So, the pure title is going to be defended on Dark. So all of the titles getting brought back in limelight. Maybe we're going to find out right after New Japan Forbidden Door that ROH might actually get their own show. We'll see. But yeah, Mark Henry says it's time for the main event. But first we go to, I think, commercial, and then we get it. We go to where a bunch of matches are announced. So first we already had that Gun Club match announced where it's Billy Gunn and teaming up with his sons, including Max Caster. And so the Gun Club and Acclaimed have a quick promo. Billy said he used his stroke to get them this pre-show match at Forbidden Door. Colton and Austin think they're headed to Japan, and that's pretty funny. I don't usually laugh at all at their coming out and saying the wrong city. That it's a one-note joke that wasn't really that funny the first time, and now it's like 8 times later, and it's hellaciously not funny. So, but this was funny. Like, we got a match on Forbidden Door. Oh, I'm gonna we gotta go pack my suitcase for the big trip to Japan. That's kind of funny. Anyway, we're told that it's gonna be. We will see Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi of the Chaos Stable on the pre-show. And of all the tag teams AEW could have picked, they picked QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. I know QT can go and so can Aaron Solo, but come on, you couldn't have given a little bit. There had to have been a different tag team that could have worked a little bit better there. But anyway, we're going to see Goto and Yoshihashi here in America. That's pretty cool. Former IWGP tag team champions. And then they tell us that the winner of the 6-man tag match at Forbidden Door, the one that has Jericho and Kingston in it, the winner of that gets to have the man advantage in blood and guts, which is always a big deal. And it almost always goes to the heels, but it would be fun to have the faces have it for once. So, and it's also confirmed that blood and guts match will be 6 versus 6. So now with the addition of Sammy Guevara to the Jericho Appreciation Society, that leaves all of Jericho Appreciation Society gets to join that match now. So for the other side, it'll be Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, Pride and Powerful, and Wheeler Yuta, and then the mystery opponent, which we're all assuming is going to be Cesaro, which is going to be interesting because Cesaro and Eddie Kingston have I don't think it's legitimate, but storyline beef. And so they're going to be beefing, which makes sense why Bryan Danielson would want to bring in Cesaro. Not only is Bryan Danielson already real life friends with Cesaro, but he knows that Cesaro hates Kingston just as much as Danielson hates Kingston, which gives Danielson an edge because he knows that if it comes to push to shove, John Moxley might choose Eddie Kingston's side. So Bryan Danielson would be a really smart move to bring Cesaro in, so that if that point in time comes where Moxley and Kingston are going to be against him, he'll already have Cesaro, and he doesn't have to worry about, oh, maybe can I get Yuta to help me or something like that. Now it'll just be if Yuta might change the tide on that wherever he chooses, but I would assume he would stay with Bryan Danielson at that point. So yeah, it's time for the main event, like Mark Henry said. But yeah, Excalibur runs through the entire Door card again before we get to the main event. Jeff Cobb is out first, so some good cheers. Jeff Cobb comes out alone. We've got Caprice Coleman, so another ROH type guy. They've been bringing our former wrestler, a manager, and announcer in ROH's Caprice Coleman, and they were bringing him out. Remember when we were first introducing some of the ROH stuff? Caprice Coleman was coming out to call some of those matches, and he was doing a really good job. Caprice was, so good to see him out here again. Cash is out also to some good cheers and also alone. So we get a good feeling out process in the beginning of this, really slow, but the good feeling out process for two guys that really haven't been in the ring before, so with each other. So Cash's goal, we're told, is that Cash said that he wants to injure Cobb before the Sunday main event. So Cash doesn't really care about winning per se. He wants to injure Cobb as much as he can for Sunday. Jericho starts yelling he says that's stupid. Your goal should be to survive and get to Sunday in one piece, Junior. So good advice. I mean, I can see both ways. Sometimes people say a good defense is a good offense. If I'm kicking your butt, well, you're not kicking mine, right? So why go into the match trying to just survive? Just try and take them out, and you will survive. So you can kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. So I would go more so with the if I was in this situation in real life, the Cash Wilder uh, point of view over the Jericho point of view. They're both kind of valid. I get what Jericho's saying, especially a veteran would say that, like, you just want to get out of this match and get the Sunday in one piece. Don't you know, take a disqualification if you have to, if it's getting rough kind of deal. But Jeff Cobb, remember he's talked about the Olympics earlier. Excalibur tells us that Jeff Cobb competed in the Olympics in freestyle wrestling and represented and carried the flag for Guam in the 2014 Olympics. So I didn't even know that, and I've been following Jeff Cobb for a while. So pretty cool to learn that. We get a big suplex by Cobb that sends us to a picture-in-picture ad break pretty quickly into the start of this match. But yeah, I like that suplex. And Cobb is stalking Cash outside the ring during the picture-in-picture ad break. He rams Cash back first into the ring post twice, and then back in the ring. Cobb surfs, acts like Cash is a surfboard. Cobb surfs on the back, so the back is really getting worn down by Cash at this point. And then out of nowhere, while we're still in the picture-in-picture ad break, Jeff Cobb hits a standing moonsault for a 2 count. I didn't know Jeff Cobb had that in him. That was pretty sweet. Jeff Cobb then transitions from a delayed vertical suplex, so he's got Cash lifted up for a delayed vertical suplex. But then instead of the suplex, he just throws Cash forward. I've never seen that before. Really cool stuff out of Jeff Cobb. And if you were a Lucha Underground fan, you might know Jeff Cobb, especially when he does his finisher as Matanza Cueto. So especially when he does his finisher, you're like, is that Matanza? Yes, it is. So Cobb works over the back some more, really working over the back of it. Looks like Cobb is doing what Cash wanted to do and really injuring the person. We might see Cash selling that back on Sunday now. He worked it over so much. Yeah, I can't believe that standing moonsault. That vertical suplex was pretty cool. Now Cash tries to do a sunset flip, and if you guys are fans of OSW Review, we get a perfect Aloha Arn out of Jeff Cobb, who is from Hawaii, so that's very appropriate. And of course, Jeff Cobb does the Aloha Arn perfect, and it worked because he is from Hawaii, you see. And we come back from break now. That was the best picture-in-picture ad break I've ever seen. All that stuff I just described. Now that we're back from break, Cash has a sleeper hold locked in, and Cobb stays in it for a little while, but it fights out. Cobb's now struggling to catch his breath from that sleeper hold, and Cash is fighting through a bad back. So really good old school storytelling in this match. I wouldn't expect anything else out of an FTR match, singles or as a tag team. So Cash gets a chop block to Cobb's knee. So here we go with the Cash trying to get the injuries going in the Forbidden Door. And Cobb goes for the tour of the islands at this point, but Cash counters it into a cradle pin for a 2. Cash keeps countering Cobb, but Cobb's able to get a snap German suplex that really looks like it hurt Cash. Now Cobb's able to hit the tour of the islands, the nastiest looking finisher, almost one of the nastiest looking finishers in the world when he just hits it so perfect. For the 1-2-3, Jeff Cobb wins. I'm not surprised by that. They definitely have the story that Cash is like, he only cares about tag team wrestling, bro. So Great O'Con's now kind of just casually walking out to the ring, and he didn't even do anything, but Dax runs out and just completely crushes the Great O'Con from behind. The Great O'Con goes flying down the ramp. Man, the guy didn't even do anything. What the hell, Dax? But now Aussie Open and Will Ospreay are down. I think at this point also Roppongi Vice ran down, so we got all kinds of people fighting. Orange Cassidy's now out, and he tackles Will Ospreay so hard that it looks like Will Ospreay hit the back of his head on the stage. Just what we need going in the Forbidden Door. Now Eddie Kingston's running down to attack Jericho, who's on commentary. He grabs a pen and starts doing what you might think with a pen to Jericho's head. And Roppongi Vice, like I said, are fighting Aussie Open. They're down there. I didn't even see them come out. Eddie Kingston's fighting Jericho through the crowd as everyone else is brawling around the ringside area. And right when Jericho thought he finally freed himself from Kingston's grasp, Kingston comes out of nowhere and starts beating him up again. Back in the ring, Dax hits a pile driver. I didn't even write on who. Like, everything's just going crazy at this point. The brawl goes on. Oh, it was a pile driver on one of the Aussie Open. I think maybe Kyle, but 50-50 chance it was Mark. And then anyway, this brawl goes on for like maybe another minute or two. It didn't end there, but there wasn't really much for me to report other than just crazy brawl. And Jericho keeps thinking he gets away, but Kingston gets him anyway. So great stuff as we go to fade to black. Great go home show for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. And I'm really looking forward to it. So before we get going, let's just go over the Forbidden Door card. We've got a couple matches added tonight. We've got 3 pre-show matches added tonight. I mean, 2 of them added tonight to put us up to 3. So the one that was already announced is Gun Club, Billy Austin and Colton teaming up with Max Caster. And they're going to fight 4 of the guys from the New Japan Los Angeles dojo here in America. So I like that they were included. A lot of people are going to be like, this is the one they care the least about, unless they're just huge Max Caster and Gun Club fans. But they'll be fighting Yuya Uemura, Alex Coughlin, the DKC, who we saw tonight, and then Kevin Knight, who has some really good high flying moves. And Alex Coughlin is really good, and so is Yuya Uemura. Is he's not a finished product, but as far as the youngsters from Japan go, really, really good as well. Then the one of them that was announced tonight is the Factory, represented by QT Marshall and Aaron Solo, are going to fight Chaos members Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. That one's going to be a good match because QT Marshall and Aaron Solo can fight. They're good wrestlers, but I can think of so many other people. Like, why couldn't it have been Malachi? Or wait, Malachi's already in a match, but there's so many other tag teams that could have used. Like, even Varsity Blondes probably could have been used better there, just to have Varsity Blondes versus a former IWGP tag champ. Or I know that we kind of just broke up Jurassic Express, but they could have waited a week or two, and we could have had Jurassic Express in this match. Or so I understand QT Marshall and Aaron Solo are great wrestlers, and they deserve props just as much as the next guy, but they're not stars, man. They're not going to be stars. They're not presented as stars. They're presented as like almost as low on the totem pole as the Dark Order. The people would have loved to see Johnny Hungy teaming up with anybody in the Dark Order, really. So I don't understand that per se, but I do like that we get to see Goto and Yoshihashi. And then it's gonna be the other pre-show match announced tonight was Swerve in Our Glory, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee versus Suzuki Gun members El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Kanemaru actually was in probably not a lot of people are going to tell you this, and I bet you that's because they didn't even watch this match. But going back to the semifinals of the qualifier for the All Atlantic title, the one where Ishii eventually won, got injured. Now it's Clark Connors, but Ishii in the semifinals fought Kanemaru, and that was my favorite match of the week. I like that better than anything else. I liked it better than Lee Moriarty versus Takeshita at Prestige, among others. I liked it better than anything at Slammiversary or anything we saw in AEW in the last week. Um, not counting tonight's because I already did that podcast before Rampage, but that was my match of the week. So I'm really glad to see Kanemaru here. We saw El Desperado on Dynamite a couple weeks ago. So now to the main card, we've of course got the main event: John Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Title. That should be a good one, and I could see just this it's not 0% chance that Tanahashi wins, but it's definitely down to like 5 or 10. Like it can't be any more than 10. It's got to be at least 90% chance John Moxley's winning that belt. Jay White is defending the IWGP World Heavyweight title against Kazuchika Okada, Hangman Adam Page, and Adam Cole in a four-way match. And I thought they did a little bit of disservice to this match on Dynamite by not having someone like making a more grandiose deal that this was going to be a four-way match. All they did was show it, cram it in the middle of Excalibur reading off the card for 2 minutes, and then you would have to be really paying close attention to see, oh, it's a four-way match for the IWGP World Title. So kind of dropped the ball on that one, but we'll see. We got another four-way match. This one's going to try and compete with that Jay White one for match of the night potentially. Pac, Miro, Malachi Black, and replacing Ishii, Clark Connors, who's the only American representative out of the 10 people in the qualifiers. So that's pretty cool to have an American get there, and it was through the New Japan bracket. So funny how things work out sometimes. In the match that decides the winning team receives the man advantage in Blood and Guts, it'll be Jericho, Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki, and they'll team up to fight Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. Shota Umino is the son of Red Shoes, the main referee in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And when Jericho was there feuding with people, Jericho was a super heel and was beating up Red Shoes' own son in front of him, who was a young wrestler, still a young wrestler, but he was a young lion at the time. So Will Ospreay is going to defend the U.S. heavyweight title IWGP against Orange Cassidy. Like I was saying earlier, that was supposed to be the match where um, Andrade was supposed to fight Will Ospreay, but I suppose the more I think about it and the more I see the previews and stuff, Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay should slap. It should be a really good match, and that's one of those matches along with the next one where I could actually see one of the AEW guys winning IWGP belts. So this one and the next one I described are the two I really think that AEW could have the IWGP titles for a little bit, and my main reasoning is NJPW is about to start their month-long tournament in a couple weeks, G1. So that starts in a couple weeks and doesn't end until like August 18th, August 20 or something like that. So they could definitely afford to leave a couple titles in America, and then those guys or whoever's the champion would have to come maybe drop them over in a Japan show later on. But there's we could definitely see like maybe the IWGP US title on AEW for a little bit, which again makes it all the more reason that we didn't need to create the All Atlantic title, especially when we want to bring in the trios. Maybe now we're building up enough women for a tag women's division and stuff like that. So we didn't need another, especially with all the ROH titles. We still got the FTW somewhere around there. So and we might be seeing like someone like Orange Cassidy with the US IWGP title. So in the other match where I think it could be an IWGP champion in AEW, it's FTR versus United Empire versus Roppongi Vice. Winner take all, one fall to a finish, ROH titles and IWGP titles on the line in that match. So I could definitely see FTR winning the IWGP tag titles, and I could even see Roppongi Vice winning them. And then of course I could see United Empire taking the ROH titles to Japan as well. Just because there is no ROH currently. So any that match is going to be crazy. It's definitely 33% chance that for each team, and then like a 1% chance that it's a no contest, nobody wins the title, and everything stays the same. So 1% chance that happens, and then 33% chance for the other three teams. It literally can be anybody. I mean, you can might drop Punky Vice to like 30%, and maybe FTR would be like 35, and United Empire 34, something like that. But it's super freaking close. Speaking of close, Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm, the only all AEW battle since there is no women's division in New Japan. They have a partnership with Stardom, but this isn't a Stardom cross promoted show. So, but you can almost think of former Stardom wrestler Tony Storm as representing Stardom. So that's interesting. But here, I think it's another where it's definitely like 50-50. Thunder Rosa might retain or Tony Storm might win. I didn't have much faith that Thunder Rosa beating Marina Shafir the other week. So that's how low I think of AEW thinks of Thunder Rosa, to the fact that we never get to see say any promos or anything like that. So the next match, probably one of the most fun matches of the night, is going to be Bullet Club for one night only. El Phantasmo and Hikuleu with the Young Bucks. So the Young Bucks reprising the Bullet Club roles. We're going to see them all the hits, all the old cocky heel stuff they used to do, and the wearing Bullet Club outfits and stuff. So that should be awesome. They're going to take on Dudes with Attitudes is the name they gave him. It's Darby Allin, Sting, and LIJ members Shingo Takagi and Hiromu Takahashi. That's just going to be crazy with all kinds of spots and a lot of fun things happening. And if you've never seen like Shingo or Hiromu before in your life, you're in for a treat. Sting's probably going to jump off of some high balcony or something crazy. So that should be a great match. And of course, Zack Sabre Jr., the last match listed on this card, Zack Sabre Jr. versus to be announced, TBA. Everyone's hoping it's Cesaro at this point. A lot of people saying it. Their second best guess is Johnny Gargano. Either one of those would be fine with me. People were saying if it's someone like a Jonathan Gresham, who we actually saw tonight. So if it was a Jonathan Gresham, although it would be a great technical match, it would be somewhat of a letdown as far as the surprise goes. So we'll have to wait and see. It might potentially be people that are already in AEW, but Brian definitely made it sound like it wasn't. So I don't think we're going to see Samoa Joe here. But it's definitely not a 0% chance that it's someone like a Samoa Joe. So we'll just have to wait and see. Cesaro would be a great choice. Claudio Castagnoli, I'm assuming he'll come in as his name, but maybe he'll come in with a different name. And yeah, I'm gonna get going, and I'll be back. I don't think I'm gonna do a preview show. I'll just be back for the AEW right when it ends, the Forbidden Door ends. So come on and join me for that. We'll talk about all the craziness that we saw. I'll also be on back tomorrow if you're into new NWA. I'll be here with that as well. So I do all kinds of reviews on here, and the flagship podcast with all kinds of news comes out every Friday. Go check that out. The Wonderful Wrestling Podcast. That's where I don't do any reviews or recaps. It's mostly just news and the week in general, and a look ahead to the next week. So check on a lot of that stuff and give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, and send me any feedback if you think I should do anything better. So thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next time. And don't forget Forbidden Door this Sunday. Peace.